Good morning, science students. Today you will be taking some notes and labeling a plant cell. They're very similar to animal cells. They have a few differences, so please follow along and write down the organelle names with me and do the color coding as I do on the screen. And we will take care of those two things in this top portion of the paper. And then below here we have our chart. We have our cell part and the function of the cell part. Remember, cell part is a very simple way to say organelle because the organelles are inside the cell, kind of like our organs are inside our bodies. And of course, again, function means what something does. So here we go. The first thing you're going to do is put your name, hour, and date on this paper. I'm going to put mine, and you can hit pause and put yours. Add whatever hour you're in, and then look at the board and write today's date. Whatever date you're doing this on, it will be different for some of us. Okay? So, name, hour, and it's your responsibility to get the date, whatever date you are doing this on. Some of us will be doing it on different dates. Okay, let's look at our directions. So of course our title is plant cell. Your directions are label, color each organelle, and write the function of each organelle in the chart. Okay, let's start with labeling and coloring. Okay, number 1. It's pointing to this piece right here. And in the past, some of you have told me that this kind of looks like a loaf of bread. And it does. But that scientific name, or the organelle's name, is mitochondria. So we're going to go ahead and write that in. I do want to make my font slightly larger. mitochondria. So please write that on your paper. And, oh, I guess I spelled it wrong. Oh, mitochondria. Mitochondria. Okay? And we'll talk about that, what that does more specifically down below in the chart. But remember, it produces energy for basically that's what it does. It produces energy for the plant cell. Next, we have this arrow on number 2 that's pretty much pointing to nothing, and that nothing is that jelly-like material in a plant cell or an animal cell, and it's called cytoplasm. cytoplasm. And it basically is the inside of the cell except for the nucleus. Everything in here, the jelly-like stuff that everything floats in, that's what cytoplasm is. Now feel free to hit pause at any time to make sure you pause and get all this information as it is on my paper. I'm going to move on to number 3. It's pointing to this thick wall right here. And this is called the cell wall. And a cell wall is a difference in a plant cell. Animal cells do not have cell walls. Cell walls are described as being rigid, and it kind of gives the cell wall, or the cell, its shape, along with the cytoskeleton. The cell wall is super important because plants grow and stand up. If your cell walls and your plant cells are damaged, your flowers won't stand tall. Your corn won't grow tall, okay? We'll talk more about that when we get down here. Number 4 is pointing to this giant area right here. Our animal cells have these things too. This is called the vacuole, V-A-C-U-O-L-E. Please write that down. The word vacuole always reminds me of vacuum. We talked about that before. It doesn't suck up dirt like the vacuum would in your house. This sucks up water. And if you have a plant, a flower that you don't water for a while, the vacuoles will be empty of water and your plant will die. Number 5 is the lysosome. L-Y-S-O-S-O-M-E, lysosome. The lysosome kind of breaks down materials. It's kind of like the garbage dump of the cell. Same thing in an animal cell. Number 6, we have our cytoskeleton. C-Y-T-O-S-K-E-L-E-T-O-N. And the cytoskeleton is kind of the same thing as the animal cell. Actually, it is the same thing. It helps give the cell shape. But in a plant cell, you have 2 things kind of giving it shape. You have the cell wall, and you have the cytoskeleton. Okay, these 2 things. We'll do some color coding, and it will help these things stand out in just a minute. Number 7, again, because the cell wall is so important, number 7 is also pointing to the cell wall. I really want you to get that down. Plant cells have cell walls. Number 8 is our famous ER, or our endoplasmic reticulum. Remember the ER, or the endoplasmic reticulum, it moves proteins through the cell. Okay, so it is responsible for kind of moving protein around. Remember, protein is kind of what the cell needs to function. It's kind of like food for it in a way. Number 9, we're going inside the nucleus, and we're going to go to the nucleolus. That is spelled N-U-C-L-E-O-L-U-S. It is where a fancy little thing called RNA hangs out. We're not really going to focus in on RNA when we talk about plant cells this time around. Okay, let's talk about number 10. Number 10 is, of course, the nucleus. N-U-C-L-E-U-S. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the DNA is located for the cell. That is a big part of our study of cells. It controls everything. Sometimes scientists call it the boss. Okay. Number 11 is pointing to what oftentimes students refer to as the Wi-Fi symbol, but that is called scientifically the Golgi body. G-O-L-G-I-B-O-D-Y, Golgi body. And our Golgi body, there's a lot of things that go on there. It packages and moves around proteins from the ER, from our endoplasmic reticulum, to other parts of the cell. It's got a major job. Number 12. Number 12 is a very special place. It is called a chloroplast. And the chloroplast is spelled C-H-L-O-R-O-P-L-A-S-T. They are only found in plant cells. Chloroplasts kind of give the plant the green color. They help in photosynthesis. They produce something called glucose. You need to know about chloroplasts. You need to know what they are, but also too, we will talk more in detail about those at another time. But I want you to take notice. In this plant cell, there are 1, 2, 3 chloroplasts. Now, keep in mind, a plant cell could have 3 chloroplasts, could have 5 chloroplasts. I want you to know that this is just an example of what it could look like. Number 13. Number 13 is our little dots. And if you recall from the animal cell, those are ribosomes. Ribosomes, they are where proteins are made. They look like little dots in this model. Now we're going to take a break from writing and we're going to do a little color coding. We're not going to go crazy with it. My paper will not look as neat as your paper because, of course, I'm using a computer. You are using your hands and you guys can stay in the lines probably better than I can. So I'm going to color this in how I expect you to color it in, but only I expect your paper to be better. So get your colors ready. The first thing we're going to start with is a highlighter. I want to highlight the cell wall, and I am going to do that hopefully with a highlighter. Here we go. I want to highlight the cell wall. I'm going to highlight it this way because it goes all around. I'm going to highlight down. Make sure you're staying in the lines. I'm going to highlight across the bottom edge. I could probably fill it in a little bit better. And I'm going to highlight down the opposite side. Make sure you hit pause and get this done if you need to hit pause. There's my cell wall. And because I highlighted it, I'm going to take my highlighter and highlight the word cell wall on number 7 and go over to number 3 and highlight it on number 3 as well. So your paper should look like this right now. Next, I'm going to grab a blue. So you guys will have a blue colored pencil. And I'm going to color in completely the vacuole. I chose blue because I think of water. So with my blue, I'm going to color in the vacuole. You guys will color in yours much better than I can color in mine. Remember, I'm using a computer, so I have limited ability. I'm going to color in as much as I can. So the whole thing on your paper will be blue. And that's probably as best I can do. What happens when I click this? Oh, look at that. There you go. Get that colored in blue. Vacuole. Perfect. Now we're going to move. No, we're not going to move yet. We're going to highlight, or you're going to color over lightly the word vacuole to color code it. Just a little shade over the word. You can kind of box in that word if you want to draw a box around the word and color it in lightly. You should still be able to see the word vacuole. But again, it's color coded. Vacuole's blue. Vacuole's blue in the picture. Okay. Let's move to our mitochondria. I would like for you to make the mitochondria red. I'm going to choose a red. I'll choose this one. And with my coloring abilities on the computer, I'm going to color it in red. There's one mitochondria. There is another one down here. There is another one down here. There is, I think that's it. This one has 3. Make sure you also color in or shade around the word mitochondria so it's color coded. Mitochondria is red, so are the red mitochondria in the example cell. We're going to go down to the lysosome, which is number 5, and I would like to color the lysosome, let's do orange. So with my coloring tools, I'm going to color in this lysosome orange. Here's another lysosome. Here is another lysosome. And of course, we're going to highlight the word lysosome, or shade it in, I should say. There you go. I colored around the whole thing. So it's color coded. Lysosome is orange. This is orange. Your word is shaded orange. Your lysosomes are orange. Next is the cytoskeleton. Let me go in here and grab, we'll do yellow. So you should have a yellow colored pencil. If you don't, you can also use your highlighter. We're going to make the word cytoskeleton yellow, and I believe there's only one cytoskeleton right in here. Okay, they kind of look like, I don't know, little bones or branches. I don't know what you guys think they look like. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments what you think they look like. Next, I'm going to jump up here to the ER. The ER is tricky. It's tricky, tricky, tricky. So let me go and grab a new color. I'm going to grab a pink. And you should also have a pink. And the ER is all these interesting shapes around the nucleus. So let's go ahead and color those in pink. I'm going to color them all in. So while I'm coloring them in, you can watch me and do it at the same time. You may want to press pause. Make sure you're in the lines. I'm doing my best on the computer. Let's see here. And of course, since we've color-coded the ER pink, we need to shade in the word pink. We want it to be color-coded so it matches. Next, we have the nucleolus, and we're going to go grab a new color. I think we'll make this, let's just do a green. It's okay, green. We might have to repeat some of the colors, and that's okay. We are going to highlight our nucleolus on the paper, number 9, color code it, and in the circle in the center of the nucleus is the nucleolus, and it's now green. It's color coded, it matches. Next is the nucleus. Let's go grab a color. I'm going to do a blue on the nucleus. And it's a little bit different color of a blue than I did the vacuole, but you guys probably only have one shade of blue. It's totally fine. You're going to color code it in. I'm doing the best I can on the computer. You guys should have a much better picture than mine because you have more control than I do. Let's see here. Get this in here. There it is. That's about the best I can do. Number 11 is the Golgi body. I'm going to find, let's do a brown. Golgi body, I'm going to highlight my word Golgi body in brown or shade it in. And these Wi-Fi looking things are the Golgi body. And this cell example has one Golgi body. Actually, I believe this down here is a Golgi body. Go ahead and color that in too with your brown. And I see a mistake I've made. I wonder if anyone else has seen my mistake. So we're going to lastly color in the chloroplast. So I'm going to shade my word chloroplast in green. I did not say green, but that's what we're going to use. And we're going to color in this chloroplast. And we're going to color in this chloroplast. We're also going to take our green and color in the third chloroplast. Now we've made a mistake. I've made a mistake, not you. It was me, your teacher. We forgot to color in a cytoskeleton. So go back to your yellow real quick. And we are going to color in the cytoskeleton up here to match this yellow one down here. We're not coloring in the cytoplasm. It's a little bit difficult for me to see. Or to do that on the computer, but I do want to show you that your ribosomes are already colored in for you. They're the black dots. Okay, so this is part 1 of your cell work on this worksheet. On the next video I have for you, we will complete the bottom half. Okay, feel free to go back at any time and rewatch this video so you can get this paper done correctly. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye. Thanks.